Hey, Talking Fam, and welcome to another Talking Podcast video. Today, we are continuing the every pick in the NBA draft. This will finish up round one. We have 20 picks to cover today. Let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, so we have Jett Howard, who was drafted to the Orlando Magic, traded from Chicago. He was a freshman out of Michigan. Now, he is age 19, 6'8", 215 pounds, out of Davie, Florida, and then he transferred to Bradenton IMG Academy in high school. So, he was third team All-Big Ten, nominated from the coaches, Big Ten All-Freshman team, and made it to the Jordan Brand Classic in 2022. Now, in high school, so he participated in the Jordan Brand Classic despite being the 37th ranked player and the 11th ranked player at his position in the national class. He had slipped to the 40th slot by May of 2022, but he is spelled as the MVP of the Allen Iverson Roundball Classic, despite participation of 7 top 20 players, including Brandon Miller and Anthony Black, as well as Cason Wallace. Iverson and J.R. Smith were among those who were impressed by him. So he was a 4-star recruit heading into college by rivals 247 Sports and ESPN. His ESPN grade was an 87. So he ended up committing to Michigan. He began the season on November 7th over a victory over Purdue Fort Wayne. He had 21 points in that. He, on March 23rd, he announced he would forego his remaining eligibility and declare for the NBA draft. So, he ended up doing pretty good going for Michigan. His dad is a coach for Michigan, so it kind of worked out. But anyway, I think he is a really good player. He averaged 14.2 points per game, their second leading scorer, and led them with 78 made three-pointers. So he is a three-point shooter, which works well in the NBA nowadays. So overall, I think this will work really good for the Magic. And yeah, I think they have Paolo Banchero now and Jett Howard. I think this will really be good as well. He also grew up in high school in Florida, so this will also help like the atmosphere and all of that. Alright, next up, the 12th overall spot. Now, this went to the Oklahoma City Thunder as... traded to Dallas. So, Derek Lively Jr. will be playing for the Dallas Mavericks. And, yeah, so he was only a freshman at Duke. There's a lot of freshmen in this draft. He played high school in Philadelphia. He is age 19, 7'1", 230 pounds. Went to high school in Westchester, Pennsylvania. So he went to Duke, of course, last year, and now he's drafted by the Dallas Mavericks. He was the ACC All-Defensive Team, ACC All-Freshman Team. In high school, he was an All-American. He went to the Jordan Brand Classic, and was the Pennsylvania Gatorade Player of the Year. He also went to the Nike Hoop Summit. So, out of high school, he chose Duke over Kentucky, Michigan, and Penn State. He was a 5-star recruit ranked by rivals in 247 Sports as well as ESPN. But overall, in college, he played in 32 games, started in 25 of those games, averaged 19 minutes per game, 6.58 field goal percentage, 1.54 3-point percentage, 600 free throw percentage, 5 rebounds per game, 1.1 assists per game, 5 shooting steals per game, and averaged 5.4 points per game. So he's not that much of a scorer. He's more of a rebounder, and I think he just played so many games he didn't shoot that much. But yeah, I think he can do a really good job for them, and hopefully the Mavericks make the playoffs with Luka. And if Kyrie comes back, that'll be awesome for them. All right, so that's the Mavericks. Now, next up, we have the 13th spot, the Toronto Raptors. This was their only pick of the night. Now, they end up picking another freshman out of Kansas. They picked up Grady Dick. Grady Dick is 6'8", 205 pounds, 19 years old. He went to high school in Wichita, Kansas, and then transferred to Bel Air, Kansas. He was second team All Big 12, Big 12 All Newcomer team, the freshman team, the National Player of the Year in high school. He went to the Nike Hoop Summit and was a All-American. So he started high school in Wichita, where he spent 2 years. In his final game with the school, he averaged 20 points in a final year. He averaged 20 points in a game, while reaching the playoffs. He transferred to Sunrise Christian Academy, where he averaged 18 points a game in his senior year. So he chose Kansas over Iowa State and Baylor, as well as Florida and Illinois. And yeah, overall, I think he's a really good player. And he also represented the United States at the 2021 FIBA 3x3 under 18-year-old Cup. He averaged 3.2 points, helping his team win the gold medal. So yeah, that's really good here. Grady Dick going to the Toronto Raptors, going to a different country as in Canada. So yeah, there we go. Good pick by the Raptors. Next up, we have another. This is a sophomore out of UConn, Jordan Hawkins, getting drafted by the New Orleans Pelicans. This overall is a pretty good pick, actually. He is 21 years old, 6'4", 186 pounds. One of the older players in the draft this year. So he was the NCAA champion in March Madness this year, first team All Big East, and was the Big East All Freshman team last year. In high school, he played high school in Maryland. He transferred to DeMatha Catholic High School after his sophomore year, still in Maryland. He was named the Maryland Gatorade Player of the Year as a senior, averaging 19.7 points per game. He was a 4-star recruit and committed to UConn over Louisville, Marquette, Xavier, and Seton Hall. He played in 27 games as a freshman, and then he played in 37 games as a sophomore. So he ended up playing in 64 total games, started in only 41 of them. He averaged 23 minutes per game with a .396 field goal percentage, .376 three-point percentage, and an .87 free throw percentage. He averaged 3 rebounds, 1 assist, .5 steals, and .4 blocks, as well as 11.8 points per game. Now, his cousin, Angel Reese, plays college basketball for LSU. Who also won the national championship for women's basketball. So yeah, overall, I think this is a really good pick out of UConn. Jordan Hawkins is just an amazing player, really scorer and playmaker as well. Moving on to the 15th flick. This is another sophomore, Kobe Buffkin out of Michigan. So this is the second Michigan player taken in the top 15. Alright, so he got drafted by the Atlanta Hawks. He ended up playing. He played high school at Grand Rapids, Michigan. As a sophomore, he averaged 20 points per game. So he played all 4 years on the varsity team. 7 rebounds on 3 assists per game as a sophomore. His team finished 16-6. But as a junior, he averaged 22 points, 5 rebounds per game, leading his team to a 20-2 record. He averaged 25.7 rebounds and 5 assists per game as a senior before missing most of the season with a fractured left wrist. He was named to the McDonald's All-American game and the Jordan Brand Classic as well. But he did end up being third team All Big Ten this year. He chose Michigan over LSU, DePaul, Michigan State, and Ohio State. But he was drawn to Michigan by the head assistant coach, Sadie Washington. Alright, so he averaged 3 points and 1.1 rebounds as a freshman. He earned Co-Big 10 Freshman of the Week honors for his first double-digit scoring effort on December 18th against Southern Utah. His final career stats for Michigan in the 2 years he played for them. He played in 61 games. He only started 33 of those. He averaged 23 minutes per game, 4 assists, 3 field goal percentage, 325 three-point percentage, with a 8.3 free throw, 3 rebounds, 1.7 assists, 0.9 steals, and 0.4 blocks per game averaged. But he averaged about 9 points per game in college. Overall, the Hawks do need a shooting guard like him. They have Trae Young, who's a shooter, and Toby Buffkin is a good shooter. They just need to help him develop. Coming up, 16th pick, we have Keontae George out of Baylor. This is another freshman. He drafted to the Utah Jazz. So he is another shooting guard. He went to high school in Louisville, Texas, and then transferred to another school, the I School of Louisville, and then transferred to IMG Academy in Bradenton, Florida, for his senior year. So in high school, as a freshman, he averaged 21 points per game. It was named District Offensive Player of the Year. He averaged 23.9 points per game as a sophomore. For his junior year, he transferred to the I School, but he averaged 24.8 points per game. But then he moved to IMG Academy. So he chose Baylor over Texas, Texas Tech, Kansas, and Kentucky. So he was Big 12 Freshman of the Year, Big 12 All-Newcomer All-Team, Big 12 All-Freshman Team, second team All-Big 12. And then he went to the Jordan Brand Classic and the Nike Hoop Summit in high school. In his college career, he started in all 33 of his games, averaging 28 minutes, .376 field goal percentage, .338 three-point percentage, .793 free throw percentage, averaging 15.3 points per game in his college career through his 1 year. Alright, so overall, pretty good player here for the Jazz after trading away Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert. I think this is a really good pick for the Jazz. Alright, next up, number 17, we have Jalen Hood Schifino, picked by the Los Angeles Lakers, another freshman out of Indiana this time. Now, he is a point guard / shooting guard, so LeBron James is a point guard. We'll figure that out soon. Who knows? He is 20 years old, 6'6", 215 pounds. He went to high school in North Carolina before transferring to Combine Academy, also in North Carolina, and then to Montverde Academy in Florida. In high school, he was two-time Geico High School National Champion and went to the Jordan Brand Classic. So he played for 3 different programs as a sophomore. So as a junior, he went to Montverde Academy. He won back-to-back Geico High School national titles. He was named All-Star and invited to play in the Jordan Brand Classic, where he scored 14 points and hit 3 3-point shots. In the offseason, he played for Coach Norton Hurd IV and Team THAD, an AAU program founded by Thaddeus Young. He spent time in California with professionals, including Paul George. He stated that his time at Montverde prepared him for college basketball, noting everyday grind just really helped him. So he ended up committing to play for Jeff Capel at Pittsburgh while playing for Combine Academy, but it was a major recruiting win for the Panthers to land him a Pittsburgh native. But following his sophomore year, he chose to reopen his commitment. The Indiana Hoosiers had become involved in his recruitment, but after months after head coach Woodson began in Bloomington, he committed to the Hoosiers in August of 2021. He was the highest rated recruit to sign with them since Romeo Lanford in 2018, and a ninth highest ranked recruit for the program since 1998. So out of high school, he was a 5-star recruit for the Rivals.com and a 4-star recruit for 247 Sports and ESPN. He was ranked 89 in the ESPN grade. So in his college career, he played in 32 games, starting in all of them, averaging 33 minutes per game, .417 field goal percentage, .333 three-point percentage, .776 free throw, and averaged 13.5 points per game. So overall, good pick by the Lakers to pair it with LeBron James if he does come back, but if not, to pair it with Anthony Davis. Alright, so next up we have number 18, Jamie Jaquez Jr. out of Mexico. He went to UCLA. This is a senior Miami Heat. So this is the Heat to try to pair him with Tyler Hero, Jimmy Butler, and Bam Adebayo. Now, Jaquez is 22 years old, 6'6", 226 pounds. He went to UCLA for 4 years. This is very rare to see a player play all 4 years college basketball. Overall, he was consistent second-team All-American. He won the Lute Olson Award, Pac-12 Player of the Year, two-time first-team All-Pac-12, second-team All-Pac-12, and was two-time Pac-12 All-Defensive Team. He went to Camarillo for high school. As a freshman, he averaged 15 points per game and led the team to a 25-7 record in the semifinals. As a sophomore, he earned all Ventura County second-team honors, averaging 24 points per game. He averaged 31 points per game as a senior, which is really good. He broke the single-game scoring record with a 54-point outing, and he was also a pitcher on the high school baseball team. So he went to California in college. He ended up, he was invited to the green room. He was the first UCLA senior selected in the first round since Darren College in 2009. So he played for the Mexico national team in the 2019 Pan American Games in Lima, Peru. In college, he played in 134 total games, starting in 126 of them. He averaged 31 minutes per game, had a .475 field goal percentage, .328 three-point percentage, .737 free throw percentage, and averaging 13.4 points per game. Now, his sister, Gabrielle, who shared MVP honors at the All-American Girls Game, committed to joining the UCLA women's team as part of the 2022 freshman class. And his brother Marcos began a defensive lineman for Camarillo's high school football team. Overall, really good pick for the Heat. Help him with their scoring. And he is a small forward, so there we go. Good job by the Heat picking him up. Alright, next up, for the 19th pick, we have Brandon Podziemski. The Golden State Warriors took him. Santa Clara, he was a sophomore there. Now, he went to high school in Wisconsin. So he grew up in Wisconsin and attended St. John's Northwestern Military Academy. He was named first-team All-State after averaging 22 points as a sophomore after not playing on the varsity team as a freshman. He averaged 27 points per game during his junior year and a first-team All-State. He was named Wisconsin Mr. Basketball as a senior after averaging 35 points per game, 10 rebounds, and 4 steals. He was rated a 4-star recruit, committed to play basketball at Illinois over Kentucky, Miami, Vanderbilt, and Wisconsin, and Wake Forest. He began his career with Illinois. He played in 16 games as a freshman, all off the bench, averaged 1.4 points per game. He entered the transfer portal after the year and transferred to Santa Clara. He averaged 30 points. Oh, he scored 30 points in the season opener. He was named the WCC Co-Player of the Year, sharing the award with Drew Timme of Gonzaga. He took part in the NBA Draft Combine. He decided to remain in the draft. He is Polish descent. So yeah, overall, good pick for the Warriors. I think this will be a really good job, really good pick to pair with the new Warrior, Chris Paul, and Stephen Curry, and all of that. Alright, 20th pick of the draft, we have Cam Whitmore, a freshman out of Villanova. He is to the Houston Rockets, traded from the Clippers. Alright, so Cam Whitmore is a pretty good pick, in my opinion. He went to Maryland for high school. Drafted by the Rockets. Pretty good pick. He was an All-American. He went to the Jordan Brand Classic, Nike Hoop Summit as well. He was the FIBA Under-18 Americas Championship MVP, and in college, he was the Big East Freshman of the Year. Excuse me. So he attended Archbishop Spalding High School in Maryland. As a senior, he was named Boys Basketball Player of the Year and was selected to play in the 2022 All-American Game. He was named MVP of the FIBA Under-18 Championship. He was a 5-star recruit, committed to Villanova over Illinois and NC. 5-star out of everybody. His ESPN grade was 90. He was ranked 22 overall recruiting rankings. So in college, he missed 7 games with a thumb injury. First season with Villanova, he averaged 12.5 points per game and he was named, of course, Big East Conference Basketball Player of the Year. So overall, good pick here for the Rockets. All right, next up, 21st pick. We have the Brooklyn Nets traded from Phoenix in that Kevin Durant deal. Now, Alabama. This guy's from Alabama. Noah Clowney. He was a freshman, just like Brandon Miller. So he is age 18, 6'10", 210 pounds. He went to high school in South Carolina. He averaged 9.6 points per game as a junior, and then averaged 17.5 points per game as a senior, committed to Alabama over Virginia Tech, Florida, and Indiana. So in his freshman year, he averaged, he started all 36 games, averaged 25 minutes, had a 486 field goal percentage, 283 three-point percentage, and 649 free throw, averaging 9.8 points per game as a freshman in college. But also, he had Brandon Miller as his teammate. So overall, pretty good pick here for the Brooklyn Nets, the pair with Michael Bridges over there in Brooklyn. Alright, so next up we have Dariq Whitehead taken from Duke to the Brooklyn Nets. Brooklyn Nets have back-to-back picks. Now, I think this was a good pick. Duke, he was a freshman over there. Second Duke player taken in the draft. He went to high school in Monteverde, Florida. He was Mr. Basketball USA, the Naismith Prep Player of the Year. He went to the All-American game. He won the MVP. He played in the Jordan Brand Classic and the Nike Hoop Summit. So he was a 5-star recruit. Chose Duke over Florida State, Kansas, and the NBA G League. So he averaged 13 points per game, scored 13 points in the All-American game. So overall, in his career at Duke, he played in 26 total games, started in 6 of those, averaged 20 minutes, had a 408 field goal percentage, 411 three-point percentage, 885 free throw percentage, and averaged 8.1 points per game. So his brother Tahir Whitehead plays in the NFL. So now we have 2 brothers who play in the Big Four. Alright, so Dariq Whitehead to the Nets. Next up, the 23rd pick, we have the Trailblazers traded from New York. This is a player from Iowa, a power forward, Chris Murray. So Chris Murray went to high school in Iowa. He was a third-team All-American and first-team All-Big Ten. He played in high school, he had his brother Keegan Murray plays for the Kings. Now, his twin brother, actually. So Murray was named first-team All-Metro, second-team All-State after averaging 19.5 points per game. Following graduation, he and his brother enrolled at DME Academy for their postgraduate year, but they committed to playing basketball for Iowa. So, in his career, in 3 years played in Iowa, he played in 77 games, started in 30 of them. He averaged 31 minutes per game with a 473 field goal percentage, 348 three-point percentage, a 699 free throw percentage, and averaged 12.1 points per game. So overall, this will be a pretty good pick for the Trailblazers to pair with Scooter Henderson. And overall, pretty good pick here. So their dad, Kenyon, was a 4-year starter for the Iowa Hawkeyes and was high school Mr. Basketball in Michigan. His twin brother, Keegan, does play for the Kings. So, yeah, pretty good pick here for the Trailblazers. Next up, we have number 24, Oliver Matson's Prosper, a junior from Marquette, taken by the Sacramento Kings. Murray almost fell to the Kings, man, guys. Overall, he is from Canada. Prosper, a junior out of Marquette. They play in the Bucks Stadium Arena. He is a small forward. Went to high school in Illinois and then transferred to the NBA Academy Latin America in Mexico City. He started off college in Clemson before switching to Marquette 2021. But he is drafted by the Dallas Mavericks now, and this will pair with their other pick, Lively. So he committed Law Academy St. Therese, which did not have a basketball team, but he enrolled at Lake Forest Academy in Lake Forest, Illinois, where he transferred to NBA Academy to finish his high school career. He was a 4-star recruit committed to Clemson. He averaged 10 minutes of play and 2.5 points per game at Clemson, but after the year he transferred to Marquette, who there he averaged 6.6 points per game in his first year, and then he averaged 12.5 points per game as a junior, and then after that year he committed to the NBA draft. His sister plays basketball for Notre Dame as well, so he represented Canada at the FIBA Under 19 World Cup. So overall, I think this is a good pick for the Mavericks. Alright, next up we have number 25, Boston Celtics, which was traded from Memphis, which was traded to Detroit. So Detroit traded this to the Celtics in that 3-person deal, I'm pretty sure. But they ended up taking Marcus Sasser, the senior from Houston. This guy went to high school in Texas at Red Oak. And traded to the Detroit Pistons now. 6'2", 22 years old, 195 pounds. In high school, as a senior, he was named to the most MVP of District 14 and All-State. So he committed to playing basketball for Houston over Colorado State, SMU, and UTEP. So in high school, in the 4 years he played in 107 games, started in 93 of them, averaged 29 minutes per game, had 406 field goal percentage, 369 3-point percentage, and had a really high free throw percentage at 824. He did average 13.6 points per game, his high being 17.7 points per game as a junior. His uncles were All-American players who played in the NBA. Gerald and Jason Marcus Sr. So overall, he was a consistent first-team All-American. He won the Jerry West Award, won AAC Player of the Year, first-team All-AAC, second-team All-AAC last year, and was AAC All-Freshman Team in 2020. So pretty good pick here for the Pistons. All right, next up we have number 26, Ben Sheppard, taken to the Indiana Pacers, traded from the Cavaliers. He was a senior at Belmont. He went to high school in Georgia. So he grew up in Georgia, the Greater Atlanta Christian School, averaged 13.7 points per game during his junior year, and won the state championship. Now in college, he won the first-team All-MVC and first-team All-Ohio Valley Conference in 2022 as he... So overall, pretty good pick here. The Bruins moved to the Missouri Valley Conference from the Ohio Valley Conference. So overall, he averaged 18.8 points per game as a senior, and his sophomore year averaged 10.5 points per game, and averaged 2.9 points as a freshman, and then averaged 16.2 points per game as a junior. So overall, a pretty good pick by the Pacers. Now let's move on. So Ben Sheppard taken to the Pacers. All right, next up, number 27, we have Nick Smith Jr. taken to the Charlotte Hornets, which it was traded. So this is from Denver via New York and Oklahoma City. So there's a bunch of different teams that have had number 27. He is a freshman at Arkansas, Nick Smith Jr. Now, he went to high school in Arkansas. He went to Civilian Hills and Sherwood, then transferred to North Little Rock and Little Rock. All right, so he was drafted by the Charlotte Hornets. So in high school, he was the All-Arkansas Prep Boys Underclassman of the Year his sophomore year and Player of the Year his junior and senior seasons. He led North Little Rock High to a 26-3 record and the state championship. He went to the 2022 All-American Game and the Jordan Brand Classic. He was a 5-star recruit and one of the top players in the 2022 class. He committed to the Arkansas over Alabama, Auburn, and Arkansas Pine Bluff. He also received offers from Oklahoma, Georgetown, Kansas, North Carolina, Baylor, Florida, Butler, Kentucky, Oklahoma State, Texas and Tennessee. He was a top 5 recruit nationally and was named the #1 overall recruit in the 2022 class by 247 Sports. So in college, he played only 7 games in his freshman year, scoring only 69 points during 141 minutes of his time. He was projected to be a lottery pick in the draft and was taken 27th overall this year. So, I mean, we didn't really see much of him in college, but I think he might do good. He's 19 years old, 6'5". All right, next up, number 28, taken to the Utah Jazz from Philadelphia via Brooklyn. He was a freshman at Ohio State, Bryce Sensabaugh. Now, this player is pretty interesting. Bryce is a 6'6" small forward from the University of Ohio State, drafted by the Utah Jazz. Now, Bryce was 13 All Big Ten. He was the Big Ten All Freshman team, and was Florida Mr. Basketball in high school back in 2022. So he went to Lake Highland Preparatory School, and he was the team's leading scorer as a sophomore, but missed his entire junior year to a meniscus injury. He averaged 25 points per game as a senior, and was a 4-star recruit committed to Ohio State over Alabama, Georgia Tech, and Florida. He played in the Pro-Am at Kingdom Summer League in Ohio and scored 51 points in a game. Now, in college, he played in 33 total games, started in 21 of those games. He averaged 24 minutes per game, 480 field goal percentage, 405 three-point percentage, and an 8.3 free throw percentage. He averaged 16.3 points per game in those 33 games. So, a pretty good job by Bryce Sensabaugh going to the Utah Jazz, pairing with a lot of their young players. Alright, so next up we have pick number 29, second to last pick in the draft. We have the Pacers. So this was from Boston, traded to Denver. So this pick is actually Denver's pick, Julian Strawther. 2002, he's 21 years old, 6'7", 205 pounds, from the University of Gonzaga. He played high school in Nevada. So he played for Liberty High School. As a junior, he averaged 27 points per game, and his senior year, he averaged 31 points, earning the Southeast League co-MVP honors. He scored 51 points in the Hugh Paul West Invitational setting an event record. He was the all-time leader in points and rebounds at his school. A 4-star recruit committed to Gonzaga over Marquette, Florida, and UNLV. So, as a freshman, he averaged 3.4 points per game. As a sophomore, he averaged 11.8 points. And he declared for the 2022 NBA draft, but returned. As a senior, he did average 15.2 points per game. So in his total career, he played in 94 games, starting in 68 of them. He had averaged 23 minutes with a 4.84 field goal percentage, 3.84 three-point percentage, 7.45 free throw percentage, and averaging 10.9 points per game. His older sister plays college basketball for UNLV. And yeah, so really good job here. Julian Strawther, getting taken by the Denver Nuggets. So there you go, good pick. And yeah. Alright, so next up we have the 30th pick, last pick of the first round. This one is amazing for me. Mizzou Nation. Here we are. Kobe Brown, a senior from the University of Missouri. He stayed at Missouri his entire college career. Let's go. 4 total years played. Started in 2019, all the way through 2023. Yeah, really good job. And yeah, here we go. Let's take a look at his. He played high school in Alabama. He attended Lehigh High School, averaged 20.9 points per game as a junior. He repeated at first-team All-State selection and was named the Region Player of the Year after scoring 24.1 points per game during his senior year. He was a 4-star recruit committed to play at Texas A&M during his junior year of high school, but reopened as a senior. He played for Missouri over Minnesota, Penn State, and Vanderbilt. So he played in all 30 games with 26 starts during his freshman year and averaged 5.8 points per game. He averaged 8 points per game as a sophomore. He was named second-team All-SEC after leading Missouri with 12.5 points per game. He was a first-team All-SEC selection and the SEC Star Athlete of the Year as a senior, drafted by the Los Angeles Clippers in this year's draft. So 23 years old, 6'7", 252 pounds, one of the older players in the draft. Overall, early pick for the Clippers, pairing with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. Alright, that is the final, all 30 picks from the first round. I will be doing the final 28 picks in another video soon. Thanks for watching today. Please like and subscribe down below. I really appreciate it. And see you guys in the next one. Peace.